Evening friends, and in this video we are going to discuss about a very powerful tool given by the Java designers, and that is called as a wrapper class. So what it is and how does it work, in this video we are going to discuss it all. But before doing that, first you need to understand what are the primitive data types. You know that the Java provides different kind of primitive data types like the int, short, byte, long, float, double, char, boolean. So these values are stored into the computer's memory. Like if I say that int x equal to 12, what does it mean? That the compiler, or you can say the language, um, blocks 4 byte of memory, because integers generally on ordinary 64-bit machine takes they vary from machine to machine, but here on our general machines they generally take the 4 byte of the memory. So here the 4 byte of the memory is blocked, and that is given a tag name, or you can say a name called as x, and in that value the 12 is stored. So it means this is because data doesn't flow in air, data needs to reside into the memory of the computer. So 12 is stored into the hardware physical memory of this device. Now that is called the primitive data types. Now when we create the objects, because the Java's objects are kind of floating, means they do not sit on one machine, but they get moved from the one machine to another machine over the layers of the JVM. Because the idea is that how Java's objects travel from one machine to another machine in the form of objects. This is the Java's theme works, that its philosophy is that write once and execute everywhere. So if a person, or if a software designer creates an object in a machine located in the United States of America, how can that be implemented in a machine in Australia? So the question is that code first is encapsulated in the form of the bundle, and that bundle is actually the collection of many different type of objects, and these objects travel through the network, and then they go and then they are executed on that machine, and both machine necessarily should have the Java virtual machine running on them. So this is why here also, since x is primitive data types, now if I want my x to be an object, because in a truly object oriented programming language everything should be object. So how can I do that? Then you can do like, suppose I create the object of integer. So Java have created a class called as integer. So write integer, and this is my x equals new integer, and then you wrap the value x here. Means x has been stored inside this integer object my x. Now if you want to get this value, then I suppose if I write system dot out dot println, just let me type my x, and then you see what you get in the result. Because printing this value x is the primitive data type. Like if I say that Control C and Control V, so if I print x, so I am printing the data from that particular memory. But here if I write my x, then that is not the primitive data type, that is the object of type integer. So first you see the result, and then we'll continue with our discussion. So both the values are 12, but one is the object. This my x is the object of type integer, and x is primitive data type. Very same, just look at the structure, it is same everywhere. Like this is x. Suppose I have a variable called float. So float y equals 12, and then again I want to wrap it. So float my y equal new float, and then you put y. So y is gone there. Now I just paste it here, control V, and then at the place of write my yy. So now you see the 12 has been stored into the, like, is been converted into the object of type float. So there it is float value. Now you see the decimal number 12.0, and that it means it is a float value. Same way you can take the value, like suppose if I want to fetch my data from these two values, like from my x, then what I do, so I write x equal to, since I'm fetching I had to store it somewhere, so I write that my x, now since it is the object, so it must have certain function associated with it, so my f dot int value. So you see this one, this is int value. So again this variable x, which initially contains a value 12, now this my x has been object of the integer type, and it is wrapping the variable x. So here I have printed, then again I fetch it back, and then the x becomes 12 because same value is there. And now if I say that instead of this I write int rx, then this value has gone into another variable and its name is rx. So here I run, and there you see this is your integer value. Yes, this 12. Now again if you see that, suppose if I remove all these things and I go for the other type, which is long and double, then suppose I have a variable double, this is my primitive data type dx, and I give a name 123.90875 f. So this is a float value. Now I create a double object, double, and the odx, o for object and the dx remains same, odx equals new double, and then you wrap dx into it. So this way you can store it there. Same way I take one more, that is long, y equals 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, a long number, and what does it say, change y to type long. They are saying that this is too long, so I will not do that. I'll make this l as small, that is what they are trying to say. And then here I create an object of long, so long dlx equals new long, and I'll wrap y here. So these two values, now I fetch them, so I can write here system.out.println, and then odx dot long value. So this is odx is double, so it is double value. The name also is very properly provided, just like you say double dot odx dot double value. Same way here I'll get dlx dot long value. And first L will be small and the second L will be, V will be capital. So now here it is. This is called as a wrapper class, and this is how the primitive data types are wrapped into the corresponding object type. So here again I say that the dx and the y, these two are the primitive variables, and they occupy some space into the hardware memory, and the odx and the dlx, these two are the objects of type double and long respectively. Thank you very much. Subscribe to our channel, keep on watching, and in the next video we'll do something how to convert a number to string and string to number. Thank you very much. Have a very nice time.